I would say waiting. People
Hmm.
wait and they sit on the sidelines and they think, oh, I'm going to wait for rates to come down lower. I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to wait for that. And I have so many people sitting on the sidelines saying, Sandy, I really should have taken gotten in when you told me to get in and done this project and done this. People just wait and
Yeah.
you don't make any money by waiting.
Now, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today we're joined by Sandy Marshall, a seasoned mortgage specialist with over 25 years of experience across residential, commercial, and private money lending. Sandy is known for taking a boutique style approach to lending, helping clients navigate everything from first-time home purchases to complex investment deals. With a focus on clarity, creativity, and precision, Sandy specializes in structuring financing solutions that actually work in today's evolving market. Sandy, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Great to be here, Dylan. I love what you guys are doing for the community.
It's great to have you on here. I'll start off at the top by asking you, you've been in lending for 25 years. What's changed the most in how deals get done?
Oh, great question. I mean, I feel like I've seen it all. When I first started, it was a very just cut and dry business. And then they started doing the no doc loans where basically you just had to have a heartbeat and a pulse and I could get you a loan with, no money down, and, and then 2008, 2009, evolved and it, everything totally changed. Now it's like they scrutinize every single document and every
Yeah.
single penny that goes into your bank account. So, the lending market is really, just changed. If they could find a happy medium, it would really be great. So maybe someday we'll get there, but
Florida, where you're active in, seemed to be hit particularly hard during the
really
global
hard.
housing crisis or global financial crisis.
Yes.
And I remember even seeing it in like movies, like The Big Short. I want to say they had a scene, I believe it was
Yeah,
Florida, where you're talking about these no doc loans. And it was just if you had a pulse, you were getting approved. Going
absolutely.
through that period of time, I'm sure you saw people, most of them have to find new careers. And what was that period of time like for you?
That's actually when I got into the private money lending because it was very challenging to get a bankable loan at that point. So private money lending became just something that was much easier. And there were people that are like, we're not making money any other way, so let's just start doing private money lending. So that's when I started doing that. Um, you know, it it was a transition, but you just have to make it, unfortunately.
You have to
So
be able to pivot. And I think a lot of times that can be very uncomfortable for people, especially if you're going from, helping people find their homestead to then
yeah.
now you're working with investors and they're looking for maybe distressed properties. And so it's a totally different skill set. Was that a little bit jarring at that point in time?
No, not at all, because I was doing a lot of commercial finance before 2009. So yeah, it wasn't that big of a pivot. It was just the, challenges with lending that were the biggest pivot. But I was already an investor. I was working with a lot of investors, doing commercial loans too. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Now, in the commercial space specifically, from what I understand, a lot of these deals are relational based more so than in other segments because there's more on the line and people need to really understand who they're dealing with. What is the foundation for underwriting and getting a commercial loan approved?
that's a great question, Dylan. I would say it's probably more case by case. It just kind of depends on, first of all, how much experience the buyer has. And then, you know, there's so many different factors that come in, how many properties they own, their credit scores, how much money they have to put down, their experience with, renovation, stuff like that. So it's really more of a case by case scenario. Sorry, I'm not directly
No, I
answering.
mean that
It really
confirms
is.
what
Yeah.
how I felt about it. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, especially coming from the single family space, are unsure how to make that jump into commercial because it seems like it can be sometimes behind a lock and a key. I think that's where working with someone like yourself comes into play because you can help them navigate that process and structure the deal so that it makes sense. What's that process like, helping someone go from potentially one asset class into the commercial space and walking them through that?
So I can give you a great story. It's one of my favorite clients. He started with just a single family home, and then he found a 14 unit apartment building in the District of Columbia. And he's like, I have no idea how to make this happen. And I was like, I got this. So anyway, I did a cash out refinance for him on his primary residence. And we came up with the money for the down payment. And back then you could buy stuff in DC for a lot less. This was, 15 years ago. So it's quite more expensive now. But he came up with a deposit. He was a contractor, so he could, manage the renovations and stuff like that because the building needed quite a bit of work. But you know, I just I got him a great commercial loan. It was a great cash flowing building. And, from there, I would refinance that building after a year or two to get him into his next bigger project. So it's easier than you would think.
Got to
It
know the
seems
right person.
yeah, you just have to have someone like me who can kind of navigate you from, just owning a single family home that you have a little bit of equity in or even no equity. I mean, I get offers from American Express and a bunch of my credit cards every single day for, hey, you want an unsecured loan? So, there's so many great resources that people don't even think about that they can come up, with cash for their investments for. Um, but I can certainly help them navigate through that.
What's the biggest mistake you see investors or buyers making when it comes to approaching financing in general, whether that's, a single family investor or something larger like these commercial deals?
I would say waiting. People
Hmm.
wait and they sit on the sidelines and they think, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for rates to come down lower. I'm gonna wait for this. I'm gonna wait for that." And I have so many people sitting on the sidelines saying, "Sandy, I really should have taken the, gotten in when you told me to get in and done this project and done this.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
People just wait, and
Yeah.
you don't make any money by waiting.
No. It's one of these things where, especially in the commercial space, it can be scarier because there's more on the line. And I think especially in the Sun Belt, you see a lot of people who got into the business and then it's been challenging over the last couple of years, especially
Yes.
in multifamily specifically. So that
Yeah.
does lead people to feel like, hey, should I get in now? Should I wait? Should I wait this thing out? But you don't really know what 2 years in the future is going to hold. And that's one of the challenges of multifamily specifically. Do
Mhm.
you have any segments of the commercial space that you're particularly bullish on right now, whether that is, multifamily, industrial, office space, or some other segment of commercial?
Gosh, you are full of great questions today. So I think it depends on the market. There are, like what I'm seeing in Florida is a little bit different than in DC, but what I'm seeing is a lot of office space being converted to housing. So
Yeah.
I'm also seeing a lot of retail being converted into like churches, private clubs, which seem to be a really big, new thing. But it just kind of depends on the market, to be honest. I don't know every single market. I know the DMV very well, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And then I know Florida very well. But, I think it varies. There's
One of
also a
the
lot of Airbnbs in Florida. That's
A
very
lot of
popular.
Airbnbs, and
Yeah.
I think that that makes it both challenging but also attractive because there's a proven market there for that. But now you have greater competition. When
Yeah.
I think about some of the segments of commercial that I look at and say that's interesting, I think that there's a movement now to create these flex spaces and to have a community that may be positioned towards a luxury client, but
Hmm.
also that brings people together so that it doesn't keep people isolated from each other. An example of this that I see often in Texas is if a pickleball facility is being built somewhere, one of these nice outdoor or indoor outdoor with food, I'm like, that's a harbinger of multifamily is coming. If they're
Yes.
putting a pickleball court in, that means they're, aware of what else is going on around here. And
Yes.
that has worked so often. I've seen that. And then you'll see multifamily housing come in and you'll see, restaurants open up nearby. And
Mhm.
it's definitely interesting because this is all brand new to a lot of people.
I think whoever is, scouting those locations is very clever in real estate. They're they just are on their game. They know, okay, here's the perfect place for this. We're going to build a community around it, and they will. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
You
a
see
great
the
point.
same thing down there. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the multifamily housing or the pickleball complex that's nearby with
Exactly.
great food? And then everyone wants to go there. But
Yep.
pivoting here, Sandy, when folks are currently looking for their first investment, there's so many ways, and you mentioned, refinancing that people can potentially put themselves in a position to make that first investment. It's
Hmm.
challenging for folks though because they're not sure what to invest in. They're not sure how much time that they want to be able to put in necessarily. It does feel
Right.
like there's some risk. Should we partner with other people? Should we do this on our own? What's your feedback on how folks can make that first investment?
Um, I think the first investment is really just having kind of someone who can guide you along. And everybody has a different scenario. There's a lot of people that have 401ks that are earning, sometimes 1 or 2%, sometimes 3 or 4%. But if you could, borrow against that or take a loan from it and put that money into your first project and make 10, 15, 25%.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
On it, it's like it's kind of a no-brainer. If you don't have a 401k, there's many other resources. Obviously, usually your home is your biggest investment, and homes
Yeah.
have typically appreciated, a pretty decent amount with the exception of, the 2008 to 2012 period. But I think, values have recovered, and the home is still a great investment. There's a lot of people that have super low interest rates that, hopefully we'll see again, maybe not. But if not, there's other ways to do it. You've got home equity line of credits. Like I said, I get an offer from Amex and Chase every single day. Like, hey, here's a $50,000 line of credit, you know? There's just so many different resources that people have, but it really just depends on their personal, circumstances and what they can access.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned even using credit cards, right, for these types of things. I've heard of people doing credit stacking and, you know, getting 0% interest for a set period of time and then uh, using those cards in order to assist with real estate. You mentioned HELOCs as well. And now with AI and the ability to educate yourself faster than ever and content like this, more
Yeah.
people are going to be beginning to realize, hey, maybe I should do a cash out refinance. Hey, maybe I should
Yes.
take out a HELOC or a HE loan on my home. Hey, what about this credit stacking thing? And it's not there yet. It's not in the, public vernacular, so to speak. But I do think that we may start to see in the next couple of years or so, more and more people talk about the equity in your home and these creative financing tools.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some people look at exactly what you just said, and they look at it like, "Oh, why do I wanna take on debt or, pay maybe a 10% interest on, this loan that American Express is gonna give to me?" But you have to think about the opportunity cost. What can you do with that money? And you have to kind of just look beyond just the numbers that are being put in front of you, and that's where people like you and I come into play. We can help people, you know, look at the bigger picture and hopefully just, kind of get past those obstacles, which are, you know, very considerable. I mean, I talk to people every day that are, I hosted a real estate seminar 2 weeks ago with one of my real estate lending partners, or I'm sorry, my real estate partners. And there was, a group of people in the room that I felt like were really serious. And many of them owned homes and they had great equity. So I'm like, okay, here's your next step, And they're like, wow, that's a lot to think about. So people, it's a big obstacle to overcome. I guess you just have to have that entrepreneurial spirit where, you just kind of are ready to jump into a property. And sometimes you
Hey, you
win,
got to
sometimes,
risk it.
you
You
know?
got to risk it. I was talking to actually on this show a skydiving instructor turned real estate investor. And I asked him, what's the similarity between skydiving and real estate? He's like, well, there's not really that many. However, real estate can sometimes feel like jumping out of a plane.
I agree.
And that's the feeling that you'll get. It's like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. But
Yeah.
you'll have that whether you're using the equity in your home, whether you're doing your first wholesale deal, whether you're going to get your real estate license, whether you're a seasoned, lender or broker and you're trying something new, you're constantly having to deal with this emotional tension on some level, whether it's from yourself or from your clients. And at the same time, continue looking for deals, continue trying to be active. Um,
Yes.
What do you think about, for folks who are newer now and looking at getting into the lending space? I do think we actually need more people in lending, more skilled people as loan originators and so forth. What would be your advice for folks who are looking at getting into the space now?
Getting into the lending space?
Yeah.
It's a great time. I mean, I, up until 3 weeks ago, I felt like interest rates had nowhere to go but down. Now they're, quite a bit higher after we attacked Iran, but they'll still come down. So it's a good time to get into lending, no question. It's interesting. There's been a big transition from being in banking to being a broker, which is what I do. And brokers have had their ups and downs too. But, now is a great time to get into, being a broker, I feel like. Um,
Yeah, I
you know,
think from my
just out
vantage point specifically, a good lender, a good broker is worth their weight in gold because I can't do anything. I can't sell any home. I really can only have a very condensed conversation with someone unless
yeah,
they have some type of financing set up. And that's where the deals start and end is, hey, what's your
absolutely.
financing like, right? I think we
Yep,
need more skilled people like yourself in the space. And I would be excited to see more people come in realizing the opportunity that they have, right? Is hey, I'm starting this deal. This is where the deal starts. We are
yeah.
actually coming up on time here, though, Sandy. Any new projects that you're working on? And then, as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you or your team?
So I'm always accessible. Best way to get me is, happy to call my cell phone, which is 443-745-1225. Or you can email me at Sandy, SANDY, at IFS, as in Infinity Financial Services, loans.net. Um, Dylan, I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for prices to come down a bit, but I feel like it's time. So I'm gonna focus on making some big acquisitions this year. Um, haven't quite found them yet, but I'm really digging hard and you just have to follow your gut, and when a project feels right for you, you move forward with it. So
Sandy, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your
my
time.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.